Warning, this podcast contains time. All messed up. Where is it? What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Time After Time. Season 1, Episode 5, Picture Fades. You two were not the wrong people. Don't worry. Don't worry. You're the right people now. I'm your host, Dom. With me we have Kim, not Nikki, Kim. And Nikki, not Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki. How's it going?
Hi.
Hi.
You talked me into a dilemma.
I did.
Because I don't have any chocolate in the house, and I feel very, very uncomfortable with the way things have been going about this certain topic that you've been going on about for like days now.
Days,
and it's made me so upset that I need chocolate, and there are none. There's none in the house.
Yeah. I've been going on about something called the Mandela effect for like the last week, and it's really starting to bother me. And it's not like the spelling inconsistencies like the Berenstain Bears. It's some much bigger things. The only explanation is time travel. So I figure that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Somebody's messing time up, and It is maybe possibly even John Stevenson.
HG. Could be the Ripper himself. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he, instead of going around killing ladies, he just wants to mess with our heads and change things that we've thought is true for all of our lives.
Yep, exactly. No, so like this episode started off with World War I, kind of exactly what we were suspecting last week where it was going to go. The episode opens up to YouTube videos of all things of World War I. HG kind of watching it and going, what, machines versus man, this isn't even fair, and it's just, yeah. They end up doing a lot of research and find out why exactly John is going back, that they found John's son's birth certificate. HG is just completely floored, and Jane is just like, you can find anything on the internet. And I instantly thought of one of our friends that would be doing this exact same thing. You're live. One of our friends basically did this and found out all this information about another one of our friends that she knew nothing about. It was kind of scary. So, yeah, I agree with Jane. You can find anything on the internet. So, in the meantime, we get flashes to John, who we find out Kim was right here. John was going back in time to save his son. I thought he was going to murder his son. And this causes HG to follow, and leads to a really interesting scene in the bar with HG having a gun and John accusing HG of being a spy. It leads to a really, really interesting set of altercations there.
This is after HG told Vanessa that he wasn't ever going to wield a gun.
Yeah. And she kind of made him.
Yeah.
Defense. Think of it for defense, and he's like, he can't argue with that. And it was the gun scene was cool because it was like a flipped around version of what John did to HG back in the first very beginning, first episode. Yeah. Or the second episode. I don't know. Those two blend together because
they do, because they were.
It was a double feature. Yeah, with no distinctive separation. Mm-hmm. And we meet John's son, Henry. And he's actually a good guy. He's a good person. He's got no blurred lines like his father.
I really recognize the actor, and I forgot to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I've seen him somewhere else. And recently, in one of the shows that we watch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of shows, but I feel like I've seen him before. So, I'll have to look it up in a bit, but...
And he quotes, or a quote he said, we either reject the darkness or we let it destroy us. It seemed to really affect John. Like, he's sitting there going, something here that I created wants to, there's no darkness in it. It's got it controlled, and it wants to save lives. So it kind of feels like, it's almost like, I feel John wants to protect him for his own redemption. That's kind of the feeling I got off that.
When he had that big scene when he kidnapped him, had him tied up, and he makes this big deal, he got really upset. And he kind of brought out some of his own like fears, like his own like thing that's going on in his head. That he's like, all I'm known as a monster, and I'm trying not to be. I really don't want to be a monster, but I am a monster, and I can't control it. And there's got to be something. It's his constantly thinking that there is some good in him, but he doesn't know where the fuck it's at, and he's getting mad about it, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. But I feel like because he doesn't know how to control himself and find the good in him, that he found it in his son, and that's why he wants to go back and protect his son, to like show that his legacy was more than murder, and like he was able to do something, like something good was able to come out of it. You know what I mean? But when John first arrived and just killed somebody right off the bat, I was like, do we not realize the ramifications of this?
Oh yeah, already the death.
One death in this affects millions of people in the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Millions. Because before they travel back, even if there was an insignificant person, right? The only way that it wouldn't matter, I guess... No, it would still matter, no matter what, because every interaction that person was supposed to have with another person would alter their course. Because you may say something to influence somebody to go buy something or go do something, and on the way there they get hit by a car. And if this stuff doesn't happen, it fucking creates this big spiral out of control, and it changes the entire world. May not change anything directly for us, but what if in 300 generations of children that this person was supposed to have, they were a great inventor that created something? It doesn't alter anything that we're going to see on the show, but it really starts deep-seated like time travel kind of stuff, and why time travel is very bad.
Though something was interesting when they obviously Jane pulled up all these pictures and all of the stuff that it happened. So it happened. So him going and him not going and him not dying where they thought he died actually happened, and ended up dying somewhere else. So
this,
even though he thought he was preventing something, he actually made it all occur.
This so far is my favorite episode of the show. This episode is what my definition of my favorite form of time travel is that whatever happened, and you cannot change it. Right?
So what you're saying is that even though he was supposed to die with the rest of his men, because he was supposed to die, he died anyways.
No.
He wasn't. He did not die.
He never died on the transport ship. We don't know.
No, I know.
So say the timeline went through without interference from John.
Hmm.
He was supposedly supposed to escape off the transport ship.
Okay.
And then go back to the bar to meet his girl. And then the bomb goes off. And then he goes in and saves those people and dies anyway. That's how it always supposed to happen. So John actually interfering with it didn't change anything. But my version of time travel is whatever happened. So John always went back. This is how the timeline always happened. Even the first time around. John was there. John stopped him from getting on the convoy, the transport, which caused him to not get killed, caused him to go to the bar, caused him to die. So everything that John is trying to prevent is only causing it to happen in the first place. So
exactly.
Time, whatever happened. That is my rule of time travel that I love more than anything. You cannot change it. It's always going to unfold that way.
And that's what we saw in this episode.
We've seen the show do two different things so far, so the rules of time travel are a little weird to me. But seeing HG in the picture when she's looking through, that's the way it always happened. She has picture proof. It's always been that way, unless the events that they were causing things to transform around her.
But they didn't portray it like that, so I don't...
Exactly, they didn't portray it like that. So this show's getting more interesting to me. And if they stick with this method of time travel from here on out, because the only anomaly to this so far is the pilot episode. Right? It's the only anomaly we have to this. Was when they traveled to the future. See, that's the catch here. They traveled to the future. And they altered something that was happening in the future.
Maybe that's the difference, is because it's the future.
That you could change the future, but you can't change the past. And if that is their time travel rule, I'm way more on board for this show than I even imagined I was.
I don't know.
You know, it's just imagine, like a bus crash and it does, terrible amount of damage. And you want to save the bus, and you try everything you can. You go back in time, you try everything you can, only to find out you are the reason why that bus crashed in the first place, and the bus always crashed that way, but you didn't know that because you weren't there. You were trying to do the good thing, but by having that knowledge, you were actually the cause of it, and have always been the cause of it. That is what I love about time travel when they do they do it in that
I actually
fashion.
like that thought that you can't go back and change the past, but you can have knowledge of the future. This thing can change the path you go on.
Yes. Yeah, that I like. So that's what I'm hoping they stick with. Really, really has me intrigued. So that way John killing the guy when he first arrived there doesn't matter, because it always happened that way. So it really doesn't affect time. So I'm hoping they stick with that, and I will back the show until it ends. And unfortunately, the ratings have been abysmal for this show. Fans are just saying it's a really bad time slot, throwing it up, especially March Madness. And there's a lot of people out there that don't even know this show exists, apparently. So
It wasn't really advertised much at all, because I know we do our research, so we find out about shows prior to almost a year in advance.
Especially if it's a show involving time travel, believe me, I know about it.
Yeah, so we do our research, but for regular viewers, if they're not properly advertised, and if they're not in a good time slot that is kind of in that prime time area, people don't find out about it.
Yeah.
So
right now they're saying the ratings are pretty abysmal and struggling. People are theorizing the show may not even completely finish out airing on TV, and it may go to something that, like, the final episodes only appear on ABC. I hope that's not the case. I hope we get the show straight through. At least finish it up. If they're not going to renew it, I at least want a conclusion. So, I don't know. Jumping the gun a little bit, but I'm hoping we get more of the show.
At least finish out the story and then be done with it. But
yeah, I mean, we're only on episode 5. It's a really short season to begin with. It's 13 episodes, right? So, I mean, at least finish that out for the people who are watching right now.
Yep. We had Jane, right? She got a little upset, I guess is the right word. That HG told her to stay behind. She starts throwing sexist, chauvinistic pig in his face.
Jane, you are not born of that time. Stay the fuck out of it.
Sounds like someone doesn't like Jane.
I hate when people do that. I mean, you're not going to run into a situation where, I'm going back in time, you can't come with me. That situation never comes up around, like, for us in the real world. But, like, there are similar situations where it's like, you shouldn't come with me because, there's a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't come. Like, I'm going to go back to my parents for this reason, and I need to do this by myself. You stay here and take care of this end of things, please.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're chauvinistic or sexist. That
Well,
has
I think
nothing to do with it.
Vanessa put it the best way, and she's just like, it's very, very awful time. You know, I wouldn't want some person I love. Was it Vanessa? No, it was.
No, it was.
I
is
think
it- it was
her fiance.
Griffin. Yeah, sorry,
It
Griffin.
was
Yeah.
Griffin.
Yeah, and he's just like, I wouldn't want to put the person I love in danger. You know, it doesn't matter who they are. And I was like, yeah, that's basically what HG was going for.
This is where the problem lies with her. Sorry, with Jane is because she's been by herself for so long.
Well, it's not only that. Is she came out and goes, he doesn't love me. She, she didn't realize that.
It's
Always nice.
she's a Mary Sue in a way, and I can't stand her. And like I have that for almost every
Tom doesn't
show.
get that reference.
For every
What
show,
the hell is a Mary Sue?
a Mary Sue is a character that is put in perfect light. One where, they have flaws, but they are flaws that actually make the character grow in a good way. So her flaw is that she's been alone, she's distrustful, she's clumsy, but they're benefiting her because they're somehow making her a better character, which is not true at all. It's making me hate her. And I do this with every show. There's always one character that is exactly like that, where their flaws are benefits, and that's not the way life works at all. You learn from your flaws and your mistakes. She's not learning. She's not.
She's bound to determine that it's this thought process of like, I can do everything on my own. I don't need to. Don't. I know this because I'm like this. And it's when someone tries, especially when a guy tries to take the supposed to be that upper hand, that guy route, he's like, I'm trying to protect you, blah blah blah, and you're like, I don't need protecting, fuck you, let me do what I want to do. And that's what she pretty much did, and didn't get it.
No, like that's why I said, Jane, you weren't born in that time, you don't belong in that time, stay the fuck out of it.
I mean, technically HG doesn't either.
Yes, I know, but it's also not her problem. John is not her problem. He's HG's problem. So HG has to fix it. And her going back is just a distraction. She's just getting in the way because he wants to protect her more than time at that point.
Correct.
So she just needs to, it's not sexist. He's not being a chauvinist pig or anything. It is him trying to get the job done without any kind of thing to it just pisses me off so much I have no words. Like,
it's the reason why men didn't take women to the battlefields or anything, back when that. Obviously now that's all changed. Yeah. But that was the thought process, was that if you're there, all I'm going to be doing is trying to protect you and not paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah. And
yep. The best way you have to look at it is just go with my method of time travel. Whatever happened, happened. She was not meant to go back at the time that HG went. She was meant to go back when she went back. And that's how it always happened. That's always how it has to happen. And there's no way to change it. So those events played out because that's how it has to happen. So yeah. Her reasoning, whatever, I get it. I get it. But the thing that surprised me the most with Jane was when she basically said out loud what's been on my mind for the last 2 episodes now, was eventually you have to show up to work or you're gonna get fired. I cannot believe they actually addressed that, because that's kind of been bothering me. It was very apparent in this episode. Before she said it was really bothering me.
Isn't Vanessa the main curator though? She's the one that kind of runs the museum?
No, she owns the time machine for the exhibit. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah.
God damn it, Jane, stop it. She's stupid. I can't. She's one of those characters that I pick out in every series, and I'm just like, I can't stand your stupid ass.
Yeah.
She is that character.
Yeah. No, I think Jane is the weakest link on the show for sure. I think the other problem I have with this show, and me and Nikki were talking about this a little pre-show of a couple shows ago, was this show and this time travel shows in general take a lot of time to set up. Time pun intended. Do we still have that time counter from us saying time? Does anybody?
No, we never did.
No.
Somebody's got to go back when this is all done and count it
And
all
then
up for
I
us.
don't have the time to go back and count all the times that we said time up to this time.
You're just bringing the timer counter out. No, but
2 times I can say time in a sentence. Time
after
time.
and with you have to set up so much because the payoff is not a linear story.
No.
You know, that like that's the problem. And what my issue with it is not the setup, not how long it's taking, because I've dealt with enough time travel shows to know to expect, you know, a long journey for the payoff. But what my problem is right now with the show is the amount of people that are secretly in the know. You know? Like, it's just like, you suspect everybody of knowing everything. You know, now. Like, you can't, like, you meet a new character, like the doctor, you know, that we met this episode. Dr. Cedric Myers. Instantly, I'm like, he knows something. Like, he's in on it. You know, like, that's just where my mind is going now. So
Really, it's like all of the people that like are their characters know what's going on.
Yeah.
Just like all of them.
Yeah. So, I guess that's really my only gripe so far, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We're not even halfway through. We have one more episode to be at the halfway mark. And then at that point, if the show doesn't start, like really
Building.
not building, because that's what it's doing in the first 6. I give it half the season to build, and then on that is when the foundation I feel gets laid after the 6th episode, the halfway mark, and then you see how well the show stands on its own 2 feet from there on. But the twists keep coming, and I love the twists. Think they're phenomenal. Like this one, finding out about Project Utopia, right? That was kind of Vanessa's whole thing the last couple episodes. She finds concrete evidence on Project Utopia. She finds the files from Dr. Cedric Myers, who Brooke had killed, by the way, so Vanessa wouldn't find the files, but found the files anyway. So unfortunately, Dr. Cedric Myers was a very unnecessary death. But I have a feeling that character is not the last we've seen of him. But just because he's dead in the present doesn't mean we can't visit him in the past.
Well, the thing is, like, they explained Cedric had a big part in the beginning of Utopia, right?
Right.
Because their dad was connected to him somehow. So, or
they
Vanessa's dad?
They were like colleagues or
Partner.
something.
Yeah, colleagues. So, you know, he had a big part of Utopia building as a project. So, and that's why he had the files, because
Yeah. I don't necessarily think he was involved in Project Utopia, but he had the files on it. Like, he was in charge of those, because he would remember stuff. He'd be able to, yeah, this is what Project Utopia was, if he knew, if he was involved, but he wasn't. He had records of
I mean, to
things,
be a
stuff he
colleague
didn't go
doesn't mean
over.
you're involved in the project. Just
Correct.
just being there. You know, they could be working in the
have-
same building. That's still a colleague.
Yeah, you have access to the files.
Yeah.
So Vanessa gets the files anyway, and the big twist of the episode is that we find out that the first test subject of Project Utopia was John Stevenson in 1980. Jack the Ripper is the first test subject. Now I really want to know what Project Utopia is.
Oh, well, I mean, we did get to see a bit of it, and
Did we,
she's
though?
like,
I think that's something else. I don't think that's Project Utopia.
I think it's part of Project Utopia, because in order to make a utopian society means that it's like a perfect living situation, and being able to regenerate yourself after being wounded is a perfect situation.
Well, that's stem cell research and stuff that she said was based off some of her father's work.
And he was part of Utopia. We found that out when they went back to when Vanessa was little girl at the barbecue.
I thought he just got the files. I didn't think he was actually part of Project Utopia. I thought he stole the files for...
Why would Brooke
No,
and...
the stealing the stuff was the other guy's dad.
Yeah, that was the other guy's dad.
Yeah.
So this
No.
Griffin and Brooke, their father is not the guy who was working.
They stole. I think that's what happened was they because remember that guy, he stole those
Yeah, he stole the files from their father.
So that's what happened. He stole the files and then he brought the files to Vanessa's dad, and then Vanessa's dad killed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, he was just like the middle guy, the messenger, the tall redhead guy, Chad. That was Chad's dad, that you're thinking of, who stole the files. Yeah. But he stole the files from Brooke and Griffin's father.
Oh, okay.
Relative.
He stole them from them. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so we meet Nick, who we saw last week, and accused him of being either Bane or Dr. Frankenstein, one of the two. He was actually pretty calm and collected this episode. He didn't seem very angry.
No.
He spoke.
He probably didn't just get injected with whatever the hell they were giving him to make him 6 people strong, you know?
Yeah, he was 900-pound grip. This force grip or whatever that he had, that is equivalent to the strength of 6 men. Like, absolutely insane. So after Griffin sees that, he's kind of having some second thoughts. He's having some doubts of whether this is ethical, whether we need to do this. So I'm wondering now how much of this is going to play into what's going on, because it feels like Griffin's getting cold feet, like he doesn't want to be part of this anymore, and maybe he's going to try to stop his sister and actually align with, his wife or, fiance or girlfriend or whatever you want to call her.
Fiance.
Yeah.
And it seemed like originally it was just to get close to her, but now that he's got feelings for her.
Yeah. And I think Brooke is definitely the mad scientist of the show, because, yes, all these things are unethical. Stem cell research, she's like, oh yeah, it's back, don't worry. Then it would be a little bit more public, maybe even to Griffin, especially since he's running for Senate. So she's doing sketchy stuff and she's lying out of her ass. And I think the reason why Griffin is getting cold feet is because she's like, don't worry, it's going to be in like every military, every soldier's pocket in the next 10 years. And it's like, no, that's really scary. Stop that. No. Stop it. Like, we don't want, superhumans running into war and just annihilating on, maybe losing their mind. 'Cause Nick did lose his mind. He fucking went crazy. So can you imagine throwing those people out into the freaking, like, they'll just turn around and beat up their own people because they don't know what the hell's going on.
This reminds me of the Beauty and the Beast, the TV show. I never watched that. I liked that show. I really did.
Yeah, I never watched that one.
The only other Beauty and the Beast other than Disney I remember is with Fran, the nanny lady.
Oh, that's
a terrible movie.
No.
Was she the Beast?
No.
You know what? I actually like
she
that.
She was a let's back up ahead.
No, the TV show. I liked the TV show. It was pretty good. But that was the whole concept he was a super soldier.
Mm.
It turned they gave us a serum and he turned into a monster basically.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what the side effects are, if there are any, anything like that. So I mean, the stem cell research was really cool. It healed Griffin super quick. And he's like, we're gonna have soldiers carrying this around in their pockets in the future, and it's gonna be like that's actually kind of exciting, and I feel like we can get to that point in medical research.
Oh, definitely.
At some point, I'm not saying it's right around the corner. I'm not even saying it's within our lifetime, but I feel like it is possible. It's something that we will probably see generations from now, and
there's a lot of risks with that stuff.
Yeah. It's very interesting, but the other stuff, creating super soldiers and stuff, like maybe possible in the future, but that doesn't feel ethical to me.
No,
not at all.
And with what happened with Griffin, like if Brooke wasn't well trained and she didn't clean out the wound and stuff, like if he was on the battlefield and he just stuck that in a wound and went going, there'd be so much infection. I'm sorry. You can't just get cut, put something in the cut, close it off, and just get all the bacteria go like in your arm. No, you can't do that.
There's
I
one
mean,
time
you can if in your stem cell research you specifically have something to eat the bacteria. You can. There could be microbes in there that specifically focus the bacteria. That is 100% possible. But like
it is true.
It,
That's true. But I mean,
bacteria
it just feels
is a
like
huge problem because I know for a fact because I've been digging into some weird areas of the web recently, researching all kinds of stuff, and I've just recently found out that the people who wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls, yeah, we're going in weird territory, like I said. You know the Dead Sea Scrolls, right?
Mhm.
no.
They were like they lived in these crazy caves and they found like all these scrolls and they have like ancient biblical like stuff and but it's this whole thing. So they found them. They were in like pristine jars in caves that were like preserved and you know all this stuff. This is a long time ago, in the very ancient kind of like civilization. They did research and found out that the reason why those people died out is because they didn't believe in defecating out in the open, so they would do it out in their caves and stuff like that, like in corners and stuff of their caves. And if they had done it in sunlight, you know, because there was no plumbing or anything back, like, you know, if they did it in sunlight, the sunlight would have killed the bacteria. But because they did it in the caves, the bacteria stayed, and that's what ended up killing them off. So, like, yeah, bacteria is a huge deal. So with stem cells and stuff like that, and all the research and the like the medical field here, they have to be using microbes to eat the bacteria. There's have to. I don't know where my tangent came from, but I thought it was relevant.
Oh, it was me saying that, you know, I don't think you can kill off every microbe of bacteria, even with special scientific, you know, synthesized bullshit. It just, you can't pinpoint everything and be like, yeah, we got it. There's always that little thing off in the background that's been mutated just enough that it doesn't get affected, and that's what fucks you over.
Oh, and they just like any like you know animal, people, everything. There's a they evolve.
Yeah.
I mean that's why we have so many issues with like the flu, because the flu virus continues to evolving farther forward and gets worse, and then it's like, well,
Yeah, it's just
now
like it's just like the HIV virus. It keeps evolving, even as you're fighting it. Like I think one of the best things that they described when I was learning about how the virus was mutating and stuff in school was, imagine it's like a triangle shape, and you're developing the cure, and the cure fits the triangle shape. By the time you get the triangle shape in there, it's morphed into a square, and it no longer works for it, and the virus just keeps, you know, mutating so that whatever your solution to it, it doesn't work anymore. You know, like that was the best case scenario that I remember from how viruses mutate like that, and that is why the common cold, HIV, stuff like that are not able to be cured, because they're constantly evolving. But yeah, I don't know. The stem cell thing was very vague. I definitely want to see more of that. I want to see more of Project Utopia. Those are the things that are holding my interest right now, and I want to see more time travel to the past to see if my theory of whatever happened stays intact, and has always been that way, because that would explain how Griffin and Brooke know so much about HG and Jack the Ripper, because they always went back in time and messed with things and revealed themselves and their relatives, whatever. So it would get passed down. It's like a family thing that people would know, and like, yeah, I don't know. But speaking of other vague things, next week's episode, Caught Up in Circles, the very vague synopsis. HG, Vanessa, and Jane decide to investigate Project Utopia, while Vanessa doesn't realize some of the people in her life are not who they appear to be.
Griffin.
oh, like your fiance.
This synopsis right here sounds like you could have told me this, 2 episodes ago, and it would have held true all the way till now. So that's what I mean by very, very vague.
Yeah. Well, at least we know she's focused on that now, whereas she's been oblivious this whole time.
Yeah. That's true. So I don't know. This show still has my interest. We'll see where it goes after the next episode, because that's when I feel like the cement's gonna dry and build the foundation for the show. We will see, and we'll take it from there. But Kim, where can people find you?
On Twitter at HUFF5TY, PUFF5TY.
Awesome. You can find me down below at Phenomenon. Oh, hi Nikki. Where can the people find you?
Also on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyYVENOM24, but nothing's interesting going on over there, so it's fine.
Nothing at all. You can find me discussing the Mandela effect.
Retweet Queen and a lot of K-pop.
You can find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, and right here on YouTube at /ASO TV Podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. Till next time. After time.
Bye-bye. Time.